after the president refused to shake Nancy's outstretched hand. Here it is. Ooh. At the State of the Union, well, Nancy responded by ripping up Trump's speech. It was all caught on camera. Nancy did explain her actions afterwards. Let's take a look.
Why did you tear up the speech?
Because it was a manifesto of mistruths.
Well, this morning, the White House is responding, tweeting, Speaker Pelosi just ripped up one of our last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, their survival of a child born at 21 weeks and more. That's her legacy. Now, we are super honest with you guys here at DBL. We aren't here to fact check. Y'all can go to CNN. Y'all can go to wherever you want to fact check, right? What we are here is to discuss, was that a good move? Was that a bad move? And how people felt in our hearts about the speech. So I'm going to go right to my friend Lindsay, but I'm going to look and turn my chair and ask you what you thought.
I thought this whole thing was dramatic. I felt like I was watching Days of Our Lives. And it didn't start with the handshake. It really started with no one clapped when Trump came in that was on the Democratic side. Nobody clapped. So then Trump didn't shake her hand. So then she ripped up the paper. So then all the Democrats left the chamber before the president, which is not protocol. You're supposed to wait for the president to leave.
Correct.
So it was just a completely dramatic scene. You know, I just wanted to hear what he had to say. I wanted to see what the rebuttal would be. And so both of those kind of watching all the women who I know they were standing up there for suffrage wearing all white, but, you know, making all the noise in the chamber, it just really, a lot of the message was lost because of how much of a dramatic event it was.
But speak to me about the message, because you actually enjoyed the speech. Am I right?
Yeah, I thought it was a brilliantly done speech. I think it was a wake-up call for Democrats to say, listen, you don't have the black vote on lock. You absolutely don't. And I think that everybody should know that now, especially given that Biden thought he was the front runner and now he might not be. So we're sitting here and we're talking about the pettiness of it, but really he went directly after the black vote saying, I'm doubling down. I'm bringing on a Tuskegee Airman. I'm bringing his great-grandson. I'm talking about how I'm supporting HBCUs. Now, right, it was a juxtaposition with honoring Rush Limbaugh, who has done the most racist things we've heard of.
Yeah.
Right, but he also played into his base, right? He talked about Second Amendment. He talked about women's abortions. So he literally did all things for all people. So if you didn't like Trump and you hated him, you might have been swayed if you were a moderate.
Interesting. Now, I want to just say my opinion on the ripping. I think Pelosi saw this whole thing as a show. He got, Rush Limbaugh gets a Congressional Medal of Honor, and you get a spot in a school, and you get to have your husband back, and all of this happens, and I'm going to make up lies because a lot of it wasn't real. So she said, you know what? I'm going to show the showman. And with one flick of the wrist, she got the last word and changed the narrative.
But weren't they showing the showman from before this with the impeachment trial, right? This is all that they've been doing back and forth. Pelosi, do you hate me? We even talked about that on the show. Does Pelosi literally hate Trump? So to say that they would go there and expect anything different, I think we're really being silly to say that we thought this was going to be some partisan conversation.
Yes,
I think you guys nailed it on the head when you just said a show. It literally looked like a circus. Show. Like they would highlight certain people.
You get this person, you get a prize.
It really seemed like they went through and found all the things that tug your heartstrings.
Right.
It's like nostalgic things, reuniting people, you know, finding things that we can all get behind, like the Tuskegee Airmen. And I don't know, maybe it did sway people. It came off like using people as pawns, but it works. People wouldn't do things if it didn't work. I feel like strategically, this is the best I think Trump's ever done. So.